there! You've got a hungry look. The eye of a real competitor. I can see it. Well, my friend, Tales of Tribute is the game for you. It's a game, of course. A card game, to be precise. Full of twists and thrills and canyon-deep strategy. I've been traveling around recruiting new players. It's been a lot of walking, but seeing the joy of new players makes it worth every step. Ha! Hooked another one! If you want to learn the game, you should travel to Gonfalon Bay on High Isle and talk to my friend Bragus. You'll find him at the City Gaming Hall. He'll get you sorted. I wish you safe travels and good luck in the game. You are going to have such a grand time. I can still remember my first win. Such a thrill. I'm actually on my way back to Gonfalon Bay myself, so I'll see you there.
G'day, it's your gaming geek here, the spicy one, Chris. We had a server restart 1 hour into the game, so I took the opportunity to upload the first hour of live gameplay from the NA Mega server. You might at least learn how to get started, especially if this is a new game for you. Hit the U key, that takes you to collections. At the top, make sure you have the Stories tab open, then you'll find the High Isle and so on. Now, I was in Vardenfell, but this could apply to major cities too. Why not grab your card game quest while you're at it? Now, since you have the main quest, that means you'll have access to the map, so go to a way shrine, locate High Isle, that'll be to the far left of the map, and you're all set. Enjoy. Oh yeah, how about a like and subscribe so you don't miss any of the ESO content I'll be rolling out. I'm just a super casual player who likes to post lots of tips, ideas, ambience videos, crafting, crown crates, whatever the lot. I don't get into min-maxing nor PvP or trials in any serious way. I'm all about having a ton of fun without being too dedicated to that last 1% of advantage. I'll see ya. You might be interested in my take so far from a player who has had so much fun over the years with ESO. Right now, I'm a little concerned for ESO, and I'll tell you why. You must bear in mind that this is only my first hour of gameplay. There is a lot more to come, so it's way too soon to be drawing final conclusions. Firstly, I enjoy the sameness of the landscapes and architecture throughout Tamriel. When I see a certain building style, I immediately think there are Argonian there, or Wood Elves, and so on. There seems to be a sameness here too in High Isle, but is it too much the same? I don't really know yet. Consider the first time we entered Solitude. Wow, it's that ESO style, but very different. I call it the high mountains or cold climate Skyrim style. When I first entered Rimmen, I was like, oh wow, those are Khajiit buildings, and yet it's a city or advanced Khajiit rather than town square or Rolka style. And now, when I'm in Gonfalon Bay, yeah, it's a bustling city feeling like Rimmen, Solitude, Daggerfall, Windhelm, Hrothgar and so on. But what stands it apart in style from Daggerfall? Well, it is seafaring, there's no doubt. The focus is on the bay or water rather than being a more self-contained city within walls that is Daggerfall. And I do like the steep conical spires atop the narrow towers. Those spires are noticeable from a distance and mark the city as High Isle Breton style perhaps. I'll have a closer look when I'm not rushing about later. I'll try to soak in the ambience of Gonfalon Bay. I want to feel immersed. I'm hoping I will like it.
So good to see you again, my dear. Remember that little predicament we dealt with not too long ago? Well, now I have a related but larger problem, so let me tell you about my proposition. It pays exceedingly well, I assure you. Care to hear more? Oh, nothing tawdry, my dear. We'll be too busy for romantic shenanigans before long, I expect. Some precious cargo was supposed to sail in on the morning tide, but it never arrived. I need someone not known around the island to be my eyes and ears. While tales of my exploits credit me with all sorts of talents, I can't be in more than one place at a time. I could use a fresh face to mingle with the locals, determine if anyone knows anything about my 3 missing ships and their cargo. Lord Baccaro's conference can't proceed without that cargo. Here's what I need you to do. Check the inn, the lighthouse, and the Lockabane shallows. See if anyone knows or saw anything. Then meet me outside the north gate to compare notes. Certainly. Since you're new to High Isle, I understand you may not be as familiar with the local area as I am. What do you wish to know? Gonfalon Head Lighthouse, blessed by Kinnereth herself, stands atop the hill just west of town. It offers an excellent vantage from which to watch the nearby waters. Perhaps the lighthouse keeper saw something that will help. Possibly. When ships fail to make port, it's only natural to wonder if they were damaged or blown off course by a storm. The lighthouse keeper has a perfect view of the approach to Gonfalon Bay. If my ships were out there, she might have seen them. The currents of Lockabane are strong. Flotsam from the open sea often washes up along the shores of the waterway. Some of High Isle's poorer folk comb the beach looking for salvage. Let's hope that... The ancient Anchor Inn sits just up the street near the city gate. It's one of the more popular places on the island. In my experience, inns are an excellent location to pick up rumors. Wherever you think is best, my dear. But do get started soon. My intuition tells me that some sort of mischief is afoot, and my intuition is rarely wrong. The gentleman beside me, Lord Baccaro Valoris, leads the Society of the Steadfast. They're a philanthropic fellowship that provides aid to people who have suffered in the Three Banners War. The Society is sponsoring a conference here on the island. Well, yes, but we're trying to keep the details under wraps. Only a handful of people know the true purpose of the conference. You were brought in on the secret during our last run-in with the Ascendant Order, but please keep it to yourself. That's not an option I care to contemplate, not while there's still a chance to find them. Forgive me for being evasive, but it's a rather sensitive topic to discuss in public. We've already faced adversity, and the conference has yet to begin. Me? Oh, I'm no one special, my dear. I've been an adventurer, a Lion Guard officer, a spy, a diplomat. People claim the Investigator Veil stories are about me, or that I wrote them. Ridiculous. I'm retired now, but I still dabble from time to time. Oh, pish-posh. Do these look like the ink-stained fingers of a writer of overly imaginative and lurid tales to you? I'm rather fond of the baldy investigator and her adventures, though. They remind me of my younger days. I'm overseeing security for the conference. A few months ago, Lord Baccaro approached me, explained his grand plans, and lured me out of retirement, you might say. My charming personality. When I was an agent for High King Emmerich, I traveled widely and met many dignitaries, including Lord Baccaro. He asked me to make sure everything went smoothly for his conference. So far, it's been anything but.
One more Heard all that, eh? Guifa's a palms up card sharp. One of the best tribute players in town. But like I always say, if you want to take the measure of a grot, you've got to climb. That nose ring jibe was unnecessary, right? I'll get her next time. Sorin, right? She definitely has an eye for talent. Yes, I can tell you all about tribute. It's a card game, a scavenger hunt. Zen's price, it's practically a religion for some folk. You want fame, gold, it's all there for the taking. Ah, fresh player. Excellent. First things first. You need to learn the rules of the game, and you'll need a couple of decks of tribute cards, of course. Find Razamad in the Gonfalon Gaming Hall. Tell him Bragus sent you. He'll get you sorted. Razamad's the game baron here in Gonfalon Bay. You won't find a kinder or more knowledgeable player west of High Rock. Not that he'll go easy on you, mind. He expects the best from the players he trains. Trust me, I should know. Freeze bones. An introduction would be nice, wouldn't it? Call me Bragus. Professional gambler and semi-professional everything else. Aside from sailor, of course, I hate the water. The better question would be, what made you leave Valenwood? The answer, my friend, is debt collectors. Vigorous ones. Once I save up enough, I might go back, but I'm in no hurry. When a stiff breeze comes through, the sisters are really beautiful. Oh, Guifa, just a lover spat. She loves making fun of my nose ring, and I love losing money to her, apparently. Match made in Aetherius. Usually, no. Most players are in it for the joy of competition, but you know what they say? If there's an uncertain outcome, someone's got gold on it. I play a lot of unsanctioned matches. Putting skin in the game keeps things fresh. Aye, that big building there. Used to be a House Mornard villa, believe it or not. House Dewfort seized it during the transition of the duchy, but get tired of paying for the upkeep. The Duchess sold the place to Razamad about a year ago. Well, we drink in there too. People need a place to relax, chum. The ancient anchor's fine for sailors on shore leave, but people looking for a really good time always come here. Plus, it serves as our tribute chapter seat. Yeah, a chapter is like a team of sorts. The Gonfalon chapter meets here, but we're wandering into the weeds a bit. Focus on the game first. We'll discuss the rest later.
One of the major features of ESO is that the quest dialogue is voice acted. Additionally, we have ambience voicing as we walk through a town or past NPCs located somewhere. You'll see me hesitate in the inn later as I was exiting when I was called out by an NPC for my feat of having completed another zone on this character. Great to see. I've really only interacted with Lady Arabelle. She's unique in this game and I like that. I do realise that the same voice actor can be heard voicing other NPCs throughout Tamriel if we really pay attention, but for me, there is sufficient variety of voices in the game for me to feel really immersed. So far, of what I have heard, I'm happy, but I'm also hoping to have extended discourse with other characters too.
Ah, a visitor, or another one of Lady Arabelle's associates. Either way, welcome to our island. Bacaro Valor. Yes, a sudden squall of unusual intensity. It died out just as quickly as it arose. I noticed it off to the northeast. Dark clouds filled that part of the horizon. Perhaps our ships were delayed by the shifting winds, or decided to wait out the storm. I'm afraid that's privileged information. Suffice it to say, the cargo coming in on those ships is vital to the conference the Society of the Steadfast is sponsoring. Of course I do, but I learned long ago to have patience when it comes to such matters. Not every setback is a conspiracy, and not every delay is the act of a Daedric cult. Though, if you do learn anything of imminent concern, please let us know. I'm a philanthropist. I started the Society of the Steadfast to give relief to those caught up in the suffering caused by the Three Banners War. We establish healing tents for the wounded, distribute food and water, and provide whatever aid we can. As Lady Arabelle said, that's not something we're ready to talk about. Not until the cargo from the missing ships is secured. After that, I'll answer any questions you have. I'll even proclaim the purpose of the conference from the town square. High Isle is the primary island in the Sisters Archipelago. Technically, we're a Breton holding, but we try to behave as a neutral port. People from all over Tamriel come to experience the natural beauty of the island. Well, nobles mostly. Parts of it. But we have a rich history, and the same sorts of dangers you'd experience on the mainland. Bandits, pirates, wild beasts. And you might want to avoid our sister island, Amanos. It's a harsh jungle that has long served as a prison. Mostly political prisoners from the Empire at first. Later, rival nobles, pirates, murderers. The worst of the worst. Today, it also includes war criminals and certain prisoners of war. Amanos Station is friendly enough, but the jungle is deadly.
I'm a dockmaster, not a bloody mage. What does the lady expect me to do if her ships never made it to the docks in the first place? Should I be? Lady Arabelle suspects some sort of foul play, but not on my docks. Not a chance. Gonfalon Bay is safe. Everyone knows that. Trouble comes from the mainland, not from here. Of course, the waters to the northeast can be treacherous. The closer you get to Amanos, the more unpredictable the currents become. And storms constantly barrage the coast, not to mention sea elf pirates. A good captain knows these things. None of that would keep Lady Arabelle's ships from reaching port. Like I said, storms close to Amanos aren't that unusual. I doubt the ships we're waiting for would have sailed that far north. Just in case, I sent people to look for signs of wreckage in the shallows. I really don't expect them to find any, though.
And that leads me back to Lady Arabelle. She seems to have the role of the main quest giver or zone guide, as happens right across Tamriel on our adventures. Will I warm to her? I doubt it at this stage, an hour in, and I'm not yet invested in her. I did play the prologue too, mind you. I should have warmed to her by now, surely. In fact, I'm warming more to Guildmaster Felicia. You think I'm expecting too much too soon? After all, after a similar playtime in Oridon with Razumdar, I was swept along with his energy, his bravado, his Khajiitness. The same is not happening to the bookish lady. Lady Arabelle is holding me back from investing in the society of the Steadfasts. They seem to be a major faction or alliance in High Isle, so this is a real concern. I'll soldier on, but I'm really hoping things improve quickly, as this is the main storyline, for heaven's sake. Costuming is a bit of a worry too. You'll see me checking my video settings in this video. What was I doing? Well, I was concerned that I had low quality options selected and that was preventing higher quality textures from loading. I'm talking Druid Ravana here. Oh, on absolutely highest settings I was. I checked. Her clothing looks unfinished. That's right, the black artifacts or mistakes, unloaded things that adorn her tunic smack of unfinished artwork. It's terrible. Only an hour in, so I don't expect to see the best that High Isle has to offer in the fashion stakes just yet. Sure, call me out for sartorial disasters on my own characters too, but really, Druid Ravana is a disgrace. I hope that gets fixed quickly. I noticed that there was no great cinematic within the prologue, or as we landed in Gonfalon Bay for the first time. Given world events of the last 2 years, I can accept that easily. Focus on the gameplay and immersion and so on. And the big splash effects like these from, 3 chapters ago and elsewhere can come another time if time and resources permit.
You don't look like a salvager. Come to join up with those so-called knights who've been hanging around, did you? Bah! I'd rather go hungry than swear myself to the likes of them. Haven't seen anything sail by in the lock recently, and no new wreckage washed up today. But I've been keeping my head down. Those robber knights have been chasing off salvagers who won't promise to help them. They were recruiting, or at least offering the chance to earn a reward. They wanted people ready to haul in whatever came ashore. Several salvagers went with them. I wouldn't, though. What I find is mine. To a cave just down the beach. But I'd avoid it if I were you. Old Charbel nearly lost his head snooping around there. I don't know if they found what they were looking for, but I think they left a few knights behind to watch the shallows.
So overall, yeah, I'm obviously a little ambivalent, and I am a super critical fanboy of ESO, that's me. I care about this game, and aside from these concerns, I'm truly hoping that I can get stuck into get me a new Khajiit companion with whom to adventure, and I'm hoping that the Khajiit has an enjoyable personality too, like Miri, whom I love to bits.
Lost another one. What could it be? I can't believe you drank our entire stock.
Me? Where's your fruit? Just because I hit woke up in a bad
A traveler. I thought those vile knights had returned. Forgive me, I must continue praying for the return of our idol. Without it, this tower's light will remain dark. This lighthouse is special. It's blessed by Kinnereth, the god of winds and sea. No fire serves as a beacon for nearby ships, but the divine light of Kinnereth herself. But without the sacred idol, the light cannot shine. Knights in unmarked livery broke in and stole the Kinnereth idol. I watched the scoundrels flee to the west with the sacred edifice. Perhaps, dare I ask, would you be willing to recover the idol for the lighthouse so I may restore the beacon? They may wear the garb of knights, but the ruffians who assaulted me carry themselves like robbers and outlaws. Whoever they are, they're dangerous. Be wary of them. And may the wind bless you, traveler. Please understand, To my order, this is more than just a lighthouse. This beacon spreads Kinnereth's blessing across both land and sea, but only with the idol in place, so it must be returned. It is marvelous, is it not? This is actually the second beacon to stand atop Gonfalon Head. It dates back to the early 1st century. When I assumed my duties here, the tower was in poor repair. Dangerous, even. When Duchess Alea Dufort assumed her father's duties a few years ago, she ordered a complete renovation of the structure. I'm sure she wanted to protect trade in Gonfalon Bay, but she spared no expense in rebuilding the lighthouse.
Great work, but questions still remain. I shall return to my order and report all that has happened. Until we meet again.
Anyway.
Return, and with the idol. Place it here, and I shall call forth its light. Mother Kinnereth, this traveler has set right the desecration of this holy place. return to us your blessing, and let your light shine over the land and sea. I cannot thank you enough. With the idol returned and the light restored, we can ensure the safe passage of many a weary traveler. Is there any way a priest of humble means could repay you? Shortly after the lighthouse was pillaged, I spied 3 ships on the horizon. Then suddenly, the clouds darkened, and a terrible storm began to blow in. I lost sight of the ships after that. Perhaps they were simply blown off course? Aminos is notorious for its storms, but Kinnereth generally blesses High Isle with fair weather. I wonder, the way the storm swept in seemed unnatural, and it happened so soon after Kinnereth's idol was removed. The idol has little value outside the lighthouse. Its light does not shine in any other location. My order believes Kinnereth's light blesses High Isle. Why steal the idol unless the knights meant to revoke her protection? A troubling thought indeed.
My dockhands are watching for your cargo, Lady Arabelle. They know it's precious.
There was a storm off the coast. Perhaps it delayed the ships.
Forgive me if I do the job you hired.
Robbing people and looting caravans. Someone ought to... Hail, friend! Have you heard about the band of robber knights that waylaid travelers on the road to Gonfalon Bay? I came to High Isle to trade, but getting goods from the interior has become a roll of the dice. A rogue band that calls itself the Ascendant Order. I thought they were only active on the mainland, but they're here on High Isle. Rabble-rousers and troublemakers, if you ask me. And now, I hear they're looting caravans outside the city walls. Not specifically, but I saw some fancy-pants nobles giving the dockmaster grief. Missing ships could mean anything. Storms, pirates, poor winds, worthless navigators. Try Sergeant Dane over there. He's with the Sisters Guard and knows a lot.
They fell in line from far and wide, the heroes heeded his call. Breton, Redguard, Elf, and more, their fleet headed into a squall. They sailed the stormy sea as
I'm off duty, newcomer. Got a complaint? Take it to one of the other guards. We police High Isle. Ships that haven't arrived yet aren't our problem. Besides, we've got our hands full with these so-called Ascendant Order knights. They're stirring up trouble all across the island. Just that they're little more than well-armed bandits. They've been recruiting the poor to bolster their numbers. Now they're robbing caravans while claiming they fight for justice. Honest folk don't hide their faces behind helmets and masks. They're malcontents. They go on about how the high and mighty misuse their power by squabbling over the Ruby Throne. It started out small enough, defying authority, inciting riots, petty sabotage. But now they're hurting people. Something else, newcomer? I'd like to get back to my drink. Ordinary bandits, the Sisters' Guard can handle. But when we send enough guards to meet a company of Ascendant Order Ravagers, these faceless knights just melt away. And if we don't send enough guards, then our guards don't come back. Might as well be. Most knights proudly display their emblems. They wear the colors of their house and paint family crests on their shields. These Ascendant Order knights never remove their helms and bear no devices. They could be anybody.
You did all us a favor by saving Wayrest. What were you doing down in those sewers?
Good. You found my field office. I thought I'd keep an eye on the lock while awaiting your report. My own investigations have turned up little about our missing ships. Tell me, did you uncover anything useful? Did the Lighthouse keepers spot them? Darken the beacon? The locals revere that light. Who would dare offend Kinnereth in such a way? Something is indeed wrong here. At least our missing ships reached these waters, but this storm worries me. Tell me more about the rogue knights. The Ascendant Order, of course. I thought the rumors about rogue knights troubling folk outside of town had a familiar ring, but I'd hoped we'd seen the last of the Order at Sword's Rest. Tell me, did you learn anything at the Shallows? It seems the Ascendant Order knew the ships would be wrecked, and they helped make sure by extinguishing the Lighthouse beacon. They knew my cargo was coming to High Isle. This means the Fighters Guild and Mages Guild delegates are in danger too. Ah, you caught that, did you? My missing cargo is more delegates for the conference. Perhaps the most important ones. But I need you to check on the guild delegates right now. They went to visit a druid named Ravana. Her hut lies to the west. Valencia, you know, she created the invitation medallions. As for Guild General Quentin, I only met him when he arrived. Seems to have a good head on his shoulders, but the war has cost him dearly. He lost his wife in a raid. To disrupt the peace talks? It would be a grand stage for the Ascendant Order's message. Or they might plan to strike at the delegations. Influential voices from all three alliances will be here soon. A tempting target. The Ascendant Champion's superior. When we defeated the champion at Sword's Rest Isle, we only defeated one of the Order's leaders. I've heard whispers about an Ascendant Lord, too. I can't imagine there are too many more of them after that. Her name is Ravana. She's something of a local apothecary. She uses her skill with herbs and healing to help the folk of High Isle. With the conference delayed, Valencia was curious about Druidic magic, so off she went. Quentin decided to tag along.
we go!
Greetings, traveler. Is there something I can do for you? Do you need a poultice or perhaps an herbal tea? Ah, yes. The curious mage and the stern warrior. They stopped by. When I mentioned that rogue knights had been making the countryside dangerous, they decided to investigate. I told them where I'd last seen the knights and they set out at once. A clearing to the southwest. I'll mark the spot on your map. I saw a band of the knights gathering there the last time I went out to gather herbs. They forced me to retreat without them. I warned Valencia and Quentin it might be dangerous. Oh, you'll find druids throughout the Sisters Archipelago. Not too many on the mainland, though. Long ago, we druids left Tamriel and its troubles behind us. But here, our ancient ways survived. Our forebears among the Bretons believed civilization should live alongside nature, not tame it. In the early years of the Direni hegemony, they struggled for the soul of High Rock. They lost. Driven into exile, the Druids left to seek a place where they could live according to their beliefs. Their wanderings brought them to the Sisters. The followers of the Weird remained behind. They walked a different path than the Druids. We follow the old ways. Some call us priests of Ifre, but that is only part of our truth. We are children of the land, like the Weird. Guides and teachers to those who live in harmony with nature. People were not meant to bow before crowns of metal. Our people, the Breton people, went astray when they forgot the ways of nature. Stone walls and empty titles separate folk from the true way. We help them remember what their ancestors once knew. Some circles see it differently, of course. Circles are fellowships of like-minded druids. Each interprets Ifre's will differently, but druids of the same circle share common traditions and goals. I belong to the Stonelore Circle. We seek to teach others by the example of our work. Yes, travel far enough in the archipelago and you may meet druids of the Eldertide or Firesong circles. Although the Firesong rarely leave their island, and you should be wary of the Eldertide. They do not like city folk or mainlanders. The Weird are Breton witches. They follow teachings and practices that share a common ancestry with the Druids. Whereas we left the mainland, they remained behind to safeguard the forests of High Rock. We have more in common than we have differences. The biggest that you would notice is that the Weirds are all female, while we Druids accept all genders in our ranks. And we organize in circles of common beliefs, while the Weird Sisters form covens.
looking anyway.
I can't believe you drank our entire stock.
Just because I woke up in a pile of bottles, guilty. Those could have been gotten there in any number of ways.
Over here. I could use some help. Ah, my friend. How glad I am to see you again. This island is far more dangerous than I expected, especially after what just happened. Guild General Quentin accompanied me to visit Druid Ravana. When she told us about rogue knights in the area, Quentin was eager to investigate. It was the Ascendant Order. They overpowered Quentin and knocked me senseless. They captured Quentin. I don't think so. The Ascendant Order was definitely trying to take us alive. That's the only reason I had the opportunity to throw up a shroud spell and avoid being captured myself. Did you come out here to find us? And Ravana told you where to find us. Good. Now, we must rescue Quentin. I may have a way to find where the Ascendant Order took him, but we should get to safety first. Meet me back at Druid Ravana's hut. No. We came upon them just as they were finishing an attack on a caravan. But I assume they recognized us or decided our station warranted capture rather than elimination. But you came with a warning, didn't you? What did you find out? Wrecked the ships? How in oblivion could they coordinate such a thing? Clearly, the Ascendant Order is aware of the plans for Lord Baccaro's conference. They're here in force and causing more trouble than we anticipated. If they recognized us as delegates, there's all sorts of ways they could hold that over the conference. If they just assume we're rich nobles, ransom is always an option. But who can really say what those helmeted bastards are thinking? I've remained at Lady Arabelle's side since we delivered the invitation medallions to the delegates. I hope to help make sure their journey to High Isle proceeded smoothly. It seems the Ascendant Order is not so easily avoided. I came to talk to Ravana about arcane and related topics, and Quentin decided to tag along. When Ravana told us about rogue knights, I feared it might be the Ascendant Order. Quentin wanted to investigate. Turned out I was right.
I understand, Valencia. Do what you
I owe you a debt of gratitude for coming to my aid. It seems once again that Lady Arabelle chose well. Now to see if I can find Guild General Quentin, and by extension, the rogue knights who carried him away. Do you recall the invitation medallions I enchanted? Each delegate carries one, so I can trace my own magic to locate Quentin. Now let me see. They moved northeast, across the loch. I see an abandoned chapel. Crypts. No question, Quentin is there. Lady Arabelle asked me to try as soon as we realized the ships were late. I wasn't able to make a connection with those medallions. Maybe they were too far away, or some other magic interfered with my scrying, but I wasn't able to detect anything. No, we need to return to Lady Arabelle and share this information. Then we can mount a rescue for Guild General Quentin. I'll meet you at Lady Arabelle's little pavilion. What she calls her field office, I believe.
Will I become invested in the story and the fate of the main NPCs so far? I truly hope so, not just for my sake, but for the future of ESO. That's all from me this time. There'll be more to come. I have a backlog of Crown Crate videos too, and a ton of other ESO stuff that needs editing and releasing. And of course all this new High Isle content too. If you're subscribed, you won't miss anything.
That sounds like a Bane chapel, but only one medallion is there. Valencia apprised me of the situation. I believe I know the place where she thinks they're holding Quentin. It must be the crypts below a Bane chapel on the northern shore of the loch. Will you accompany us on this rescue mission, my dear? Smashing. This will be like that time I pulled General Gautier out of a Reach stronghold during the border raids of 566. Now that was an adventure. Anyway, it's too bad Valencia couldn't scry the locations of the other missing delegates. I suppose you've earned the truth, and you certainly deserve my complete confidence. The 3 ships carried High King Emmerich, Queen Irene, and Prince Ernskar, son of Urin the Skald King. I dare say I've misplaced the leaders of Tamriel. I warned them of the danger, and we took such elaborate precautions. Obviously, they weren't enough. If we find Quentin with the Ascendant Order, we may find our missing royals. Let's meet at the chapel north of the loch and see what awaits us. We'll rendezvous at a Bane chapel on the north side of the loch. I've already sent an operative ahead to scout the area. Be prepared to defend yourself. The Ascendant Order won't give up Guild General Quentin without a fight. Whatever the situation, I won't abandon Quentin to his fate. Oh, that's good. Let me write that down. Besides, we have to risk it. Both to save Quentin and to see if we can learn anything about the missing Alliance leaders. We know their medallions aren't there, but they could have lost them at sea. Regardless, if the Ascendant Order uses the chapel as a hideout, we may learn something about their plans. Or a clue as to where to search for the Alliance leaders, perhaps. Not a student of politics, my dear. I understand completely. They're the leaders of the Alliances vying for the Ruby Throne. Well, Irene and Emmerich lead 2 of the Alliances. Ernskar is the son of Yorin the Skald King, who leads the 3rd. You poor dear. You must pay more attention to current events. Queen Irene leads the Aldmeri Dominion, High King Emmerich the Daggerfall Covenant, and Prince Ernskar represents the Ebonheart Pact, the opponents in the aptly named 3 Banners War. It's complicated. The Ruby Throne sits vacant, and the Tamrielic Empire lacks an emperor. None of the alliances can stomach the idea that one of the others might win the throne. It's a wonder Bacaro and I got them to agree to these peace talks.
Importantly, I really want to know what you think so far of High Isle. The NPCs, the ambience, the architecture, the fashion, the voice acting, everything really. Oh please, any comments? No spoilers. Players such as myself who invest heavily in this game we love so much have avoided test servers, other YouTube content and so on for a good reason. Anyway, that's all from me. It's the spicy one, the geeky gamer pensioner. That's me, Chris, signing off for now.
There, it's open. Got any more locks you need picked? How about you, Valencia?
I think not, thank you.
Now's not the time, Jakan. Let's see what awaits us down in the crypts.
I can't pinpoint the exact location of Quentin's medallion. He could be anywhere in here.
I'll scout ahead. Maybe someone should watch the door in case anyone follows us.
I'll keep watch. Be careful.
Aw, I knew you cared.
Quentin is our priority, but keep your eyes open. Who knows what the Ascendant Order left lying about?